here's my update. Good news. We were able, our cybersecurity for seniors, we finally get granted a 501c3, and we are nonprofit. And now we are working on get it started. And for the time being, right now I'm trying to put together a date. But what I would like to do for the time being is that maybe we're going to start in April and March, but we're going to have two. We're going to have a two Zoom, and on weekdays for the time being, I'm gonna be doing an office hour, but everything going to be virtual because in San Francisco it's very hard to find a location for a meeting. There's no venue location here available, so I'm gonna use the virtual Zoom as much as we can. But so that is the update, and but I think I'm looking at the month maybe beginning on May, and we're going to have two Zoom. The first Zoom is we're going to have a topic ahead of time. It's going to be on the website. For example, we talk about what is cyber attack, what is cyber security, what is this and that. And the goal is that I really would like to hear more about from the senior community, so how much they know about certain scam. There's so many different scam right now there, but I felt like if we can all talk about it, and if we can senior find basically we are like to hear, we had all to talk about all different kinds of things that happen to senior citizens, so they can relate with their lives, with their experiences with the robocall. Is there any update with the robocall in regards to the law? What is a crypto? There are so many different things that affecting seniors, and I think that is the purpose of the bi-monthly Zoom. But on weekdays, temporarily, it's just gonna be me while I'm putting together my crew and everything. And I'm going to have office hour on virtual Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But I don't know when we're going to start. The goal is that they can contact me, and they can go to the Zoom and just look at the schedule. But basically the Zoom is going to be open to the public as much as we can. But in the long term is that I would like to create for the time being, because it's very difficult to find a venue location in San Francisco. We're gonna create a cybersecurity community center, virtual. That means seniors can go to Zoom anytime during the week. If they have any issues, they can talk to different people, and we can figure out exactly what's the best way to deal with those problems and everything.
How are you going to get people to know that they can have this resource?
We have a website, and we're going to publish it. And right now, I'm also looking for a crew, a cybersecurity crew from San Francisco and also in Las Vegas, cybersecurity people, and not so I can not do, so I won't have to do it everything by myself. And but definitely, I don't know whether you agree with me or not. We had to work with the law enforcement, because FBI is very important too. I don't know what you guys feel about FBI, but they have a very good resources. They get to hear. They had if it's so difficult to call this law enforcement on the phone, but if we can bring them to the Zoom to answer question about scam that, because if you go to the FBI website, there's a rule there for senior citizens how they can protect themselves from getting scammed. But not all senior citizens go to an internet and look for a solution. So we're going to bring them together. We're going to bring, and another thing that the second project I'm working on, which is I got a lot of support, especially in Las Vegas, that we're going to have a cybersecurity job fair. The goal of the job fair is to encourage all industry to hire or to create or internship or volunteer opportunity for cybersecurity people, but particularly for cybersecurity students in the community colleges and also in technical school. Basically, I felt that one very important because if I do believe that if all industry get if they hire cybersecurity people, that will protect seniors too. I do believe also the nursing home, we have a lot of program by the federal, state, and local for senior citizens, but they don't have a cybersecurity department. You cannot. There's so many scams every single hour, every single minute, scamming seniors. And you can go to YouTube. There's so many videos there about scamming seniors and everything. But not all seniors go to the YouTube or the internet or have an access to the internet to finding a solution of their question. So basically, the goal is that we get to create. I would like to create a community of seniors and cybersecurity people that we can all communicate with them and access. So basically, that is my update. I don't know when. I don't
There's
know.
so much you've done. I mean, that's really the congratulations on the nonprofit.
Yes, I'm very
And it sounds
excited.
like it's going to take up a lot of the office hours.
Oh,
And
temporarily
I know
it's me.
there's a lot of work on this. Do you already get the publication called Senior Beat in San Francisco?
No, I don't have those yet because I've been.
It's Marie Jobling, and there I noticed from the last edition they had been publicizing courses for seniors on how to use computers through senior centers, and then that got none of the in-person stuff was happening, and now it's ramping up again. And I kind of think I want to give you their publication because I think what you're doing is an additional aspect of what they're trying to do, but they mainly at this point work through senior centers. So maybe there's a way of networking with senior centers, and I will send that to you.
Yo, thank you so much,
That may
Louis.
help.
And another things that so many seniors another thing I would like to tap is this. Hopefully, eventually we can understand what's happening. Hopefully eventually we can understand what's happening with the senior citizen, the retired people, of how they're protecting themselves.
I would note also that
And those are I would like. I think that when we start doing a conversation, like on the Zoom and everything, once whatever we left off on that day, people will come back the next time because what happened. Because the conversation just kept going on and on and on about what's happening with their lives, how seniors protecting themselves, and how do you deal with this issue. The one thing very quick. Did you heard about what will happen? If for example, if Russia is hack our banking system, for example, you heard about cyber war, right? I think there's so much. If one thing I've read a couple of days ago is that people made suggestion that you get to update your password now on your mobile, on your bank account, because that's the only way you can protect yourself from getting your bank get hacked either by Russia or whatever. But I think that updating your password, if you cannot remember your password, get a small piece of paper where you can put your password and put a date in it, but always keep your a little notebook with all your file and everything.
You remind me that I guess we could that there might be something worldwide
Yes,
happening
that's exactly
in
what I'm.
terms of
Cyber war.
cyber war, and that might bring the whole thing front and center.
Exactly.
When I,
But right,
but
let's
I
be
also think in San Francisco, there's the seniors that I know. There are problems with people hearing
Yes.
either Zoom or phone calls. There's a lot of technology, a lot of good technology, but there's still people who have profound hearing problems, and I think that reaching that group and getting them more resources is a part of the what needs to be looked at.
Yeah, put
So it's kind of there's individual people who need help in just being able to connect, and then there's something happening at a world scale. There's a
yeah,
lot,
exactly.
lot of stuff going
On the
right
world
now.
on the world scale, and there's what's called denial of service. I would just denial of service is that when you cannot access on your bank on your bank account or on your cell phone because your password was messed up or got compromised. So what I learned from my cyber group is that the best way to deal with that, to prepare ourselves from cyber war, whatever, is to make sure that you update your password. That's the only thing that we can do right now.
but
Is to update your password because what's happening is that when they are doing hacking everything, they try to find which account is available.
right.
So
How often
I
should you
know
update
it's
your? How
one
often
hates
should
to
you
do that
update it?
because you remember your old passwords, but you don't remember your new passwords.
exactly that's one of the
Yeah.
reason. Some people would not suggest, oh, you need to write it down the paper. But for seniors, I would suggest get a small piece of notebook, a little notebook, and put the password there, and don't lose that password. And put a date and when you change your password. And if you forgot your password, go back to that notebook. But don't lose that notebook should be very close to you and never share anything. Okay, there's so many scams that targeting seniors right now. There's so many
It's bad. It's very bad.
yeah, and I think that if the government are protecting themselves from cyber war, I think I, that we got to protect ourselves too.
Yeah, but America is very unprotected.
Yes.
There was the grid, water, and the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And the cloud in the American cloud is not backed up.
Yeah.
They had just had program on 60 Minutes about the grid, and it only takes like
Yeah.
7 or 9 transformers to go, and for it to go like a domino effect for the whole country to go out. It's a mess.
I feel like it's a miracle every time we gather here on Zoom.
And another
I know
thing,
today
Yep.
we had a little problem because Claire forgot her couldn't get into her own Zoom
That's
meeting
okay.
because she
and another
lost track
thing,
of her
Yeah.
information.
and another suggestion that I've learned on LinkedIn is that to prepare ourselves for cyber war, if there's any way, we are already on cyber war. Okay, if your bank got hacked, it will take them 3 weeks to back up. That means you cannot get your money until Bank of America or Chase or they can back up their system, but it will take them some time. That what that means is that we cannot get money until this bank reopen again.
Well,
That's
you see pictures of that right now for people in Russia who are lining up trying to get their money out
Yeah.
because they don't, right?
Mhm.
And also somewhat in the Ukraine because they're trying to just get out of the country. But the Russians, because they've cut off, are standing. They see pictures on TV. The Russians standing in long, long lines, just like the Depression, just like, trying to get their money. Yeah.
It must,
and
Lindy, it must be, for me, I just have very dim memories of war news when I was a little girl, but this whole thing brings back kind of the feeling of being in kindergarten and having to duck because they were worrying about fire bombs, and we had sand buckets, and when I was little, I was terrorized by the idea that there was going to be some kind of bomb happening, and
Yeah.
I'm feeling it reawakens that I didn't even remember that I was frightened when I was little, and I thought of this whole generation of kid over there that's going to have this memory of this. And
But anyway, last night I saw Stephen Colbert for a little bit, and he was saying in Ukraine, they're fighting back in every way they can. So they're taking the signposts down. I thought, bloody hell, that's just what I remember, taking the signposts down. But they're not just taking them down. They're writing rude words in Russian, like "go fuck yourself" and "go fuck yourself"
Oh, yeah.
in Russian, right? And like the troops who are actually in Ukraine, Russian troops, really don't know why they're there. Apparently, So it's interesting for me.
And our government, our own government, is not protecting the people like a lot of the people think they are or should be. For example, FEMA, Federal
Oh,
Emergency
God.
Management Agency, they're talking about FEMA like say if there's a nuclear bomb like Putin's
my
threatened
God.
already, that we should wear a mask and we should stay 6 feet away from the next person. I mean that's for the COVID. How's that going to help you if there's a nuclear
Okay,
blast, right?
okay.
Rudy remembers.
That's
he
how
said
ridiculous they are.
Okay, Bobby.
Ridiculous.
Cuban Missile Crisis. I was in college, and I don't know whether other people
Uh.
remember digging holes. I remember.
Oh, what were you digging?
I went to the top of Tunnel Road with my bicycling buddies. I was
Nice.
and we dug a big hole, and we put a 25-pound sack of dog food in the hole with the idea that if the Cuban Missile Crisis exploded, we would all ride our bicycles up there.
And eat dog food together. I love it. That's absolutely wonderful, Lois. Now,
How stupid could have we been?
but I mean, it's the sort of thing to remember, because kids today look at the people who say people don't say I don't believe in COVID. Even though the figures are on the television and the news and pictures of people suffering and the nurses and doctors overworked, and they say I don't believe it. It's a government plot. And it's amazing to me. And the other thing that's amazing to me is, during World War II, as I understand it, in America, people collected newspapers and bottles and cans and, this, that, and the other thing. And there was some rationing. So, and everybody was in it together. And maybe because they can see it. But this COVID stuff, which is so minute, you need an electronic microscope to get into it. People are saying, well, I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm not going to do this, that, and the other thing. Why should I? And the government can't make me. And I think that's an interesting entitled